What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the MLS Now podcast. This is Gavin here doing a solo live stream today. Gonna be discussing some MLS in CCL action, obviously. Gonna recap the 3-1 win over NYCFC for Seattle Sounders, and also going to be talking about the preview for this upcoming weekend of MLS action, the 8th straight weekend of MLS action. So I guess let's go ahead and get straight into it. Feel free to leave your comments for questions or topics that you want me to cover. And at the end, I do actually have a topic posted by one of our correspondents that I'm just going to quickly touch on. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into the Concacaf Champions League match. So, first up, we're pulling up talking about this. The first leg is Seattle versus NYCFC, 3-1 win. The storyline of this match is nothing to do with the scoreline, I think, or the stats. 12 shots, 6 on target, 9 shots, 5 on target. This match could have easily ended 5-2, 4-2. Seattle were dominant on the day, absolutely dominant. And just they created a bunch of chances. NYCFC had really nothing going forward other than the goal they scored, which was through some decent build-up play through Tati Castellanos, of course, their central hub to everything. He almost gave the ball away, but kept it, got into the box, made a good run, peeled off to the back post, headed it across goal, and Thiago Andrade scored. It's good stuff there from him. And then Tati Castellanos again could have scored, to make it 2-2 at the time. I think it was in the second half. I mean, I can't believe he missed it. He just got it all wrong. He tried to flick it on, didn't really work, and got to be really disappointed if you're Tati there. He was pissed. He kicked the ball away, even stamped his foot into the advertising board. So definitely not happy, and understandably, that would have made it 2-2 in the match early on in the second half. That's a good scoreline to be bringing back to. Are they at Citi Field? Where are they playing their next match? I'm not 100% sure. Let me look it up real quick because I know they're not at Yankee Stadium. They might be at Red Bull Arena. Sorry, I'm just pulling it up here. It is at Red Bull Arena. That is correct. I thought I had heard that. So really, 2-2 would have been good. It was early in the second half. And with the chances Seattle created, could have been 3, could have been 4. So you kind of give or take there. And 3-1. I said earlier, the scoreline doesn't really show the whole storyline, and that was basically just because there could have been more goals from either side. I think that's what I'm trying to sum up here. Still a really, really, really entertaining match. Again, lots of chances for both teams. And I really, really am excited for the second leg. So let me just go ahead and just highlight that over here. We got NYCFC. They're at Red Bull Arena, like I said, going up against the Sounders. What do I want to see from both teams here? I want NYCFC to really do better at controlling possession. That's their strong suit. That's their bread and butter. NYCFC need to go in and keep the ball a bit more and make sure that they're controlling the play. They're the ones putting Seattle in positions that they don't want to be in. Now, the hard part about that is Seattle this game are going to want to sit back. They're protecting a 3-1 lead, and if they win, they go to the final against either we're looking at Pumas, who I think would be the preferred opponent out of the two, or Cruz Azul, and like two obviously good Mexican opponents, but like I think those are both beatable teams looking at them, Montreal only lost 1-0 on the road. Yes, could have been more, but then Montreal also probably could have and probably should have won this tie 2-1. They had the chances. So Cruz Azul aren't some unbeatable team either. So Seattle are really going to be protecting that lead, right? And so they're going to be sitting deep. But they're just going to do what they did against Leon, I think. They're going to sit deep. They're going to try and counter, and they're going to try and get that one goal. And I think that one goal just puts it a little too far away because NYCFC then have to go ahead and score 3 just to get this game into extra time, because it would be 3-1, then a 3-1. I'm not saying that's impossible. NYCFC are a really good team, but Seattle are just so well drilled, so good defensively when they're sitting in. It's going to take a lot from NYCFC to break them down. And to do it 3 times, it's going to take maybe a handball penalty, or maybe an own goal, a little bit of luck off a set piece. Like, a lot of things are going to have to go their way. They're going to have to create a lot of chaos to have Seattle concede 3 goals. So on the Seattle end, like I said, I do want to see them kind of sit deep, but also still attempt to go forward. Just pick your moments, kind of like how they did against Leon. They went ahead and got the goal. That really put the tie to bed. Not much more Leon could have done. And I think with NYCFC, it could be the same if they go ahead and score. So good things there. Really exciting overall that we're going to be seeing an MLS team in CCL final. We talked about it last week. Luis and I did, and we kind of said who would be our preference over Cruz Azul or Pumas. Obviously, as a Seattle Sounders fan, he has a big say in this as to who he would prefer. But he said Cruz Azul because he wants to be the best of the best, basically. He wants to face the best team in the tournament. Everyone was saying they're the best team in the tournament. They are the main, opponent to MLS not winning CCL this season. And it looks like they very well could make the final, getting a 2-1 result on the road. That's a really good result, and with away goals being a factor here. And then Pumas. I'm leaning more towards I want Pumas because they did go up against New England, lost 3-0. And if an MLS team can beat a Mexican team 3-0 on their day, and then lose 3-0, but that was a horrible, awful New England, completely wrong approach. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. And they still had to go to penalties and lost the penalty shootout by 1. It's really, I prefer that team, quite frankly, because I'm rooting for MLS to win. So I want Pumas in because I think it gives MLS the best chance to win. But thinking on the other side, as a neutral, who do I think gives MLS the best chance to win? I do think it's Seattle. I think it's Seattle. You look at NYCFC start to the season. Let's just look at their results, right? We are looking at Galaxy loss, Vancouver draw, both on the road, but this is the team that won MLS Cup last season. So everyone had them finishing first. Beat Comunicaciones, slam Montreal at Yankee Stadium, almost give it up to Comunicaciones. All horrible 3-1 up. You're going on the road to Guatemala. Yes, it's a hard place to go, but you can't let that happen. 4-2, almost a 5th goal there. Almost would have been out. Then you go home to Yankee Stadium, lose at home to Philadelphia, who, to be fair, are the best team in MLS. Then you go to Toronto, who are really struggling. They switch up their formation. They don't know how to deal with it. Toronto's winning this game 2-1. It was a really interesting affair. And now you're at Seattle Sounders in Concacaf Champions League 3-1. If they somehow get through this match, this tie basically, so they're back at Red Bull Arena and they win the game 3-0 and they go through to the final. I don't see them winning it against either of the opponents. I really don't. And I know that might be harsh, but the form they're on right now, what are they on? 4 losses in a row? Yeah, they're on 4 losses in a row in all competitions. When would the final even be? Let me look that up. Concacaf Champions League final. Where is the schedule? I know it's a two-legged final, but I kind of just want to see what matches they have in between. So I'm trying to pull it up here. Schedule. So the final. Final will be April 26th and May 5th. Those are the available dates. So let's go ahead and look at NYCFC's schedule between there. So we're looking at home against Toronto, home against San Jose, home against SKC in between potential finals. So like those are winnable games. So they won't I don't think they'll definitely not. If they're in the final, they're not going to be rotating at all. But before then, we're looking at RSL and Toronto. Again, already lost to Toronto once. This game's going to be at Citi Field. It's not going to be at Yankee Stadium, so that's going to be different. Against RSL, it will be at Yankee Stadium. So maybe they'll get a win here, to kind of bounce back from whatever happened. So let's say they win this game. They win this game. They're feeling really good. They got the comeback. Seattle's in the dump. Then they face RSL. Let's say they beat them. And then Toronto, they beat them. Like, this is a real Goldilocks situation, right? Then it's okay. I'm comfortable with them heading into it. Heading into Pumas versus Cruz Azul. The worst case scenario for me would be NYCFC wins. They struggle against RSL at home. They struggle against Toronto at home. And then they're going into a final, CCL final, low on confidence. Really don't want that, because Cruz Azul, Pumas, whoever it is, they're going to smell their dip in confidence. They're going to see their dip in form and just in the results themselves and say, we've got this. Easy. And they'll come in and feel like they've got the win, and they will probably dispatch of NYCFC. Seattle, on the other hand, I think have done a much better job of navigating this CCL. And let's look at who they've got coming up. So they were much better than NYCFC on the day. Before then, they beat Minnesota 2-1, tied Austin 1-1 after a tough double leg against Leon, which in between they beat LA Galaxy. So really, they started off the season horribly, but since then the results have looked good. These are good results. And let's say they get through. They're home to Miami. That should be a win. Away to San Jose. That should be a win. Home to Vancouver. That should be a win. Now, obviously, this is between the finals, so that's, anything can happen there. But like these matches, you can see Seattle getting whatever they have to do to get through here to win the leg, whatever. Win here, going into a final for Concacaf Champions League. I really, really, really like our chances as a league in that scenario. So that's the way I'm thinking. I want Seattle to go through, so I'm feeling good there. So that's just a little bit of CCL talk. I do think Seattle will get through. That is my final prediction sort of thing, if you're looking for that. So just wanted to go ahead and put that out there. So just, you guys can kill me when NYCFC go through and win the whole thing. So let's go ahead and move it over to MLS now. So we're MLS now, but more MLS week 8 preview. So we've got a lot of really good matches. And the first one I kind of wanted to highlight here was actually the Montreal versus Vancouver match. I think Montreal is a playoff team. From what I've seen this season, they're giving me playoff team vibes. They look really, really good. CCL was a big hindrance to them, but they should have beat Atlanta. So think about it. They went out of CCL to Cruz Azul. Should have beat Atlanta if not for a goalkeeper mistake and a banger from Almada. Beat Cincinnati on the road. Beat Red Bulls on the road. That being said, that was also a goalkeeper mistake going their way. So, give or take sort of thing. So they're feeling real good. And they're coming up against a Canadian rival, Vancouver, who have had a really, really poor start to the season. So we're looking at a horrible game against Columbus where they just folded, lost 4-0. Tied NYCFC at home, good, They didn't play good. NYCFC, I think, were the better team on the day. Yep, 29% possession for Vancouver. Took a couple big saves from Hasal. I do remember that. So Vancouver did not look good there. Lost in Houston, lost in LA. Beat SKC, who were very injured, and they're starting to finally get their injuries back, but they've also just been really poor form. And then lost at home to Portland in Cascadia Cup. Going to Montreal, I'm really worried for them. But I think with it being kind of the Canadian rivalry sort of thing, I think this has the potential to be a good match. I do think Montreal will win. They are at home. They are the better team. But you never know kind of with MLS, right? This could be a really random result type game. So I think, that's also 3 p.m. kickoff. I like the look of that game. A game to keep an eye on to kind of see where these two teams are at is Houston versus Portland. So Houston, let's look at what they've done, right? We're looking at a back and forth results schedule sort of thing, but they haven't had the hardest of starts either. I said it on the podcast. Home to RSL, away to a poor SKC, home to Vancouver, home to Colorado, away to a poor Miami, home to a poor San Jose. These matches are all kind of favorable to Houston, where it's like the result could go either way. These are not amazing teams that they're going against, bar maybe a Colorado who's had their own struggles this season. So now they're testing themselves against Portland. So now we're looking at Portland's side of things. What have they been doing this season? 2-2 draw against New England at home. 1-1 draw on the road to LAFC. Almost a win, but gave up that last-second equalizer. Beat Austin. That's good. Destroyed against FC Dallas. Not good. Almost lost against Orlando City, but Orlando just came and ruined it by giving away a penalty. That should have never given away. And then Galaxy beat them at home before winning on the road to Vancouver. They're very iffy. They're very up and down. Their offense has not been playing well. That being said, in this match against Vancouver, their offense seemed to click a bit. Maybe that's just kind of the Vancouver tax sort of. Sorry, guys. I accidentally randomly clicked out of the studio that I'm in. So my apologies there. Let me just pull up what I was talking about. There we are. So yeah, probably just some what was I talking about? Oh, Vancouver tax. Sorry, Vancouver fans, but it might have been Vancouver tax. 5 shots, 4 on target, 3 goals. That is some clinical stuff right there that you don't see every day. So I want to just kind of as a good watch for where these two teams are in their season. I think this could be good to see. Where do I think it's going to go? I honestly think Houston could come away with the win. Yeah, I'm going to go with a Houston win. I'm going to go with the home field advantage, pushes them over the edge. Ferreira just got 2 goals against San Jose. And maybe something weird happens in this game, but I'm going to go with Houston because Portland just haven't convinced me yet. They just haven't. So that's kind of where I'm leaning. So I guess I never gave a prediction for this one. I think Montreal are going to win this match. I think that's a pretty easy one, though. Next match that catches my eye, I guess we're going to stay right down the left here. Red Bulls versus FC Dallas. 2 teams who have had really good starts to the season, in my opinion. I think both teams have looked good. I think Red Bulls have had a couple unlucky results. Dallas have just been fantastic. They sit 5th with 11 points. Very easily could be more, but it's not. But they've looked really, really, really good when they've had their players and they're on the road. I think this could be a good matchup. On the flip side, we're looking at New York Red Bulls. Here, let me go back actually. We got the Red Bulls. Again, I said a couple of unlucky results, right? So Minnesota result I would label as unlucky because Dane St. Clair had to make 8 saves. I mean, I don't want to. It wasn't the most in MLS history by any means, but he had to make 8 saves. I think he also saved a penalty. So unlucky loss in Minnesota. Go to Columbus. What happens? 95th minute winner or equalizer by Darlington Nagbe after a poor giveaway in the opponent's half. So, and this was literally like last kick of the game stuff. So could have been a win, wasn't. Okay. So then we go to New England, do well, get that 1-0. It is lucky on that end. So again, the give and take, that is the season. But so far we're at 2 unlucky and 1 lucky. A poor own goal by Matt Polster while on a red card. They go and win in New England, a poor New England who are low of confidence, to be fair. And then just goalkeeper error. I thought they were playing well in this match. They lose to a goalkeeper error. Maybe should have drawn this match. So a couple of results, a couple of key moments just aren't going New York's way. But I think against Dallas, maybe again something happens like that. Or maybe they're just poor. I've been really impressed with FC Dallas. Really. The midfield's been outstanding. Jesus Ferreira is a fantastic false 9. He's banging in goals. He's on high form. The defense has been solid for FC Dallas. I don't think have they conceded more than 1 goal in a match? I don't think they have. Yeah, so FC Dallas have conceded 1-1, 0-1, 0-1. Yeah, they haven't conceded more than a goal. So New York's going to have to do a lot of good things to put a couple goals past Dallas. And Dallas, I think, are going to score at least 1. So a 1-1 draw or a 2-1 win is kind of what I'm thinking here for Dallas. I'm going to go with the draw. Because of home field advantage and how it just always has a weird thing with MLS. Moving right along, I think Columbus versus Orlando City could be a good match. I'm not going to go too in-depth there, but just 2 good Eastern Conference teams going at it. And then also, Caleb Porter versus Oscar Pareja is always a good match. Minnesota versus Colorado could be really interesting. 2 very different play styles, 2 very different coaches, 2 teams in different moments. That could be an interesting match. And that's kind of where I think I'll leave it. NYCFC versus RSL maybe, just because RSL are on a great run right now and NYCFC are at a real low. They are at Citi Field, so this might be another Yankee Stadium, my bad. But with the way RSL kind of play, that kind of defensive setup, like let's look at some of their possession stats, right? So home to Toronto, 48% possession. 48% possession at home is pretty low. Away to Colorado, 37. I mean, that's kind of standard for an away match, but, away to SKC, 38. SKC always keep a lot of possession, so that's fair. Home to Nashville, they had 41%. And this is Nashville. So, they really don't want to keep possession. Away to Dynamo, they had 38. So, they haven't even beaten that 50% possession mark yet, which is fine. Teams that don't want to keep possession, I don't have a problem with. It's their tactic. You can do whatever you want. That's fine. It's just going against NYCFC at Yankee Stadium, that's going to be playing into their hands, I think. I think them sitting deep, not letting anything over the top, as NYCFC likes to do at home, those chipped balls over the top, that's going to really play into their tactic. And then you're looking for moments from Miram, like we saw this past weekend, or Damir Krylock getting on the score sheet. Looking for runs in behind from Cordova. That's what we're looking for from this RSL team. They've looked fantastic. They are really a great unit, a great team. They're playing so well. It's been very impressive, and I'm really excited to see this match. So one to keep an eye out on. I could see an RSL win in this. I honestly could, and actually I think that's what I'm going to predict. I did get a question here before we head out. We are looking at. Let me move it over here. Mike 123, our RSL and U.S. men's national team correspondent. Let me blow this up a bit more. That's better to see. Okay, which CCL team, even if they're already eliminated, are you most concerned about moving forward? Obviously, a lot of them are below the playoff line right now because they prioritize CCL, who's in trouble of not making it back up. So we had a somewhat similar question. No, it wasn't similar. It was just different, and I answered with a CCL team. I'm very, 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 let me emphasize, very worried about New England. I'm not that worried about NYCFC. I think they'll figure it out. They'll get their groove back. But New England are worrying me. They lost a key piece in Tejan Buchanan. They're losing another key piece in Matt Turner. I think they already signed a goalkeeper to come in for him, but that's different players and whatnot. So that worries me. I'm worried about Josie. I know he's scored once, but he hasn't really looked great in the matches he's played. I think he only has one goal. Yeah, I'm looking through here. Yeah, it was against RSL. That's right. Came off the bench, I think, and scored in that match. So, also, they're getting a lot of goals through penalties. Carlos Gil has, I think, 3 penalties this season. I think 3 penalties. So, that's another thing that's worrying me. A lot of their goals, look, they're getting into the box. That's good. They're getting fouls called. That's good. But soon, you can't rely on penalties. You really can't. And that's, I don't think they're relying on those, to be fair. I just think nothing's working for them except that, so they're getting into the box and hoping. And every game looks like a challenge right now, honestly. Charlotte, they're in good form. They lost to Charlotte. They're already at a low point. That looks like a challenge. DC United, away to DC, who have been poor this season. Very poor. This was a 3-0 was very, 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 what's the word I'm thinking of? Flattering. It was very flattering to DC United. That's the word. 1-0 to DC. That was lucky. Last second penalty. It was a penalty, but last second. Come on. Home loss to Chicago. Away loss to Toronto. Home loss to Atlanta. They're playing Austin, who have been good, but they're going to be up for this match. It's against New England. New England were the best team in MLS history. Everyone's going to be up for that match. And I think they're struggling with that a bit. New England, that is. That looks like a tough match to me. Inter Miami does not look like a tough match unless they really turn it around. I know Inter Miami just beat them, but they were at home. I think it's a different match in New England, personally. But then, again, Columbus. Are they going to beat them? I don't know. Atlanta at home. I don't know if they win that game. Cincinnati, I don't know if they win that game. Philly, I doubt they win that game. SKC, maybe. When you're looking at a team in every single match, you're going, I don't think so. I don't think so. That's how you know you're worried about them. So I think going all the way back to Mike's question, which CCL team are you most concerned about moving forward? It's New England. We talk about who are the CCL teams. Let's look at them, right? I know it's Montreal. I know it's Colorado. They were the first 2 to go out. It's Seattle and it's NYCFC. Colorado doesn't worry me. They are just one of those teams that just, no matter what they do, they'll figure it out and they'll be in and around the conversation. They find themselves. Well, standings are not working right now, so let me try a different team. But I want to say they're in playoffs right now. I know that can change literally week to week, but okay, well, something's not working there, but that's whatever. Let me look over here. Colorado are in ninth with 8 points after 6 matches. So if they were to have a 7th match, they would, and if they got a win, they'd be back in playoffs. So I'm not too worried about them personally. I'm just not. And maybe that's just my bias to Robin Fraser and the way he's set up that team. NYCFC, they'll find their groove. They'll be fine. I'm not worried about them. We saw how good they've been in CCL. They just need to translate that to MLS. Now everyone is up for the match again because they're MLS Cup champs. They're going to have to figure out a way to deal with that. They are kind of bouncing around between Yankee Stadium, Citi Field, Red Bull Arena. Heck, they were in California for one of their games or whatever, or they were out west. I don't remember which one. So that's pretty concerning. I think they'll be fine though. Seattle will definitely be fine. They've looked good this season. It's New England for me. It's 150% New England for me. So, great question there, Mike. Thank you so much. And I think that is. Ooh, did not mean to click on your profile. Yeah, that's it for the questions / topics. And yeah, so I think that's where I'll leave it. Just a quick little solo live stream here, 33 minutes, try to get out some of my thoughts. Really appreciate everyone who's been listening, everyone who's been watching these after they've been going live. Unfortunately, still haven't been able to come to an agreement with the league over the highlight show yet, but more things to come on that front, so just stay posted. Again, really appreciate all the support, guys, and just have a great rest of your day, week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.